Today is all about fashion, and we are very excited to have one of our favorite fashion girl in the refreshing show. She first started her glam journey was in 2013, and since then she has been able to build a unique and authentic brand name both in the fashion and in the media industry. Joining me on the refreshing show is Angel Obasi, aka StyleConnaisseur, aka StyleConnaisseur. Tell more because it's Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you're really busy. I know you're. To tell you the truth, I'm really inspired for you. Like, see, I'm like sometimes just like, okay, how does she do that? How can I do like her once in a while? I'm actually trying to do a kind of set of video talking about influence, African influence, like you, mostly about fashion, about production, about everything, because I think we need icon. We need icon to look for, because we have no one that we really refer to. So I needed to do this interview because I'm sure that people are going to be inspired by you. Because I'm inspired by you. Yeah. I'm going to be your story, your journey, because I know it wasn't that easy for you. Rewind everything. I know you started in 2013 because I went to all your picture on Instagram to see when it all started, like to be sure that I have everything. But before that, I wanted to know how the Heineken design contest go. How did it go? How was it?
Fantastic. It was it was fantastic because it was easy working with everyone. The team they made it easy to work with. Honestly, they were free, they were fun, they were interesting, they were uplifting. So it was really just fantastic to go through. Honestly, even the judges, they were just equally as wonderful to work with and free and effortless as well. So yeah, I would say that it was just plain wonderful. It was great. It was fantastic.
Quite strange, because I know the hot topic is going to be the COVID 2019. How do you feel? How did you feel about that, being at home and having to host it and everything?
The truth is, we just tried to tiptoe around the pandemic, not really talk about it extensively, but just focus on the topic of the day, which was Africa shaping fashion future and sustainability in fashion as well. So it was just more of that as opposed to the pandemic. We didn't really talk about the pandemic, but we're trying to shed light on sustainability in fashion and also shed light on how Africa can shape fashion's future and put Africa on the map. So it was more of that as opposed to the pandemic. So we didn't necessarily talk about the pandemic as much as opposed to how are you feeling during this time, and having to have the interview online or having to have the event online because the pandemic, but it wasn't centered around pandemic.
I can imagine. Let's rewind everything. Like, let's go back to the beginning. Let's start when the grass was not green. When you start like a grass before to come into this. Let's rewind, go back.
For me, I think my journey just really started, I think mostly it was 2015 that I started officially taking pictures for, the gram. Most of it were just like my regular content, family content and all that. So it was 2015. I followed a lot of YouTubers and bloggers, and I really liked their work, and I felt like I had style as well, so I needed the work to see it. But there's so many other things and so many other factors that I needed to consider, but it didn't necessarily stop me. I just felt that I might as well just start, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to be there yet, but I could just start from somewhere. So that was when I started posting. I think it was beginning of 2015. It was like a New Year resolution. I want to start this. I want to do more of this. I started with friends of mine taking pictures with my phone and going to different locations as well to take pictures on the streets. So it was fun. It was okay. At the time, it wasn't necessarily to be StyleConnaisseur. At the time, I hadn't even gotten a name. I got a name for the brand that I wanted. It was called Sacred Pisces at the time. So it was just more about me, my personal life, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was maybe mid 2015 or at the end, I decided to have a name. I came up with the name StyleConnaisseur, and it was fantastic. It was great, and honestly, the journey has been really long, tedious, and it's still long and tedious, honestly. But it's not as difficult as it used to be then when I just started, and I didn't really have a lot of people to root for me, or a lot of people to send me products. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you just have to realize that when you start, it's just you. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be willing to put in the work. You have to really be ready to clap for yourself when no one will clap for you, because more often than not, nobody will be clapping for you.
No
right?
one.
Because nobody's watching, right? So exactly, no one's watching. So at the end of the day, I had to be my own cheerleader and just keep pushing it. And I realized that I did it mostly for this long because of passion, because I really liked it. It wasn't necessarily for the crowd, because I would have stopped. There were times where I would have stopped, right? I had work, I had 9 to 5 for like years, so I couldn't have focused on that and not, continued with this. But I still took our time to shoot, regardless of how tedious it was. So I guess that it is what it is. So here I am.
Thinking about the time it was really difficult for you, to keep on going. Tell me an example of what happened before, and then you started to feel like that is not for me. I'm not ready for that. Just an example. How hard?
It wasn't. They were just times. I just got busier, right? Then I was in school, so by the time I was done with school, which was not so long after, I didn't really have the time. I had to go make some money to fund the fashion influence. It's quite expensive to buy the clothes, buy the shoes, and really no one is buying it for you, so you have to actually get the products and get the accessories yourself. So I had to buy all of those things myself with my money, and for me to do that I had to get a 9 to 5. So I was tired a lot because I had to work, and I was just really exhausted. But the only reason that I kept going was just because of passion. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed creating content. I enjoyed wearing outfits. I enjoyed having something to post online. I enjoyed having to share my style with the world. So I just kept going, mostly because of passion. And even when I felt like I couldn't do it anymore, I can't do this, I'm just tired, I still kept going. I still kept pushing. So I think it was mostly for passion. That's why I stayed here thus far, to be honest.
The question that I have, when we are talking about being known for what you love or for your passion, when you're starting working for your passion, you decided to drop your job only for your passion. Were you not afraid? Were you not afraid of the maybe you will not make it? Maybe it's not going to be that easy.
Oh, definitely. definitely. I was so afraid. I quit 2018 November, and honestly by I think Jan and June the following year, I was like, if I don't kickstart it, there's nothing going forward for me. I'm going to just go back to my 9 to 5.
Okay.
But the June of that year was one of the best months of my life, which was basically me doing so much and earning so much on that month that it was just like a sign from God that I should just keep going, basically, right? So at the end of the day, I just felt that I was scared. I was really, really nervous. I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I have to take this step. I have to make sure that I'm doing something in the right direction. I'm going forward with my future going in the right direction. Rather. So at the end of the day, it was just, I was scared, but it didn't stop me.
It didn't stop you at all. I can imagine. Like I feel it like seriously. And StyleConnaisseur is a French name. How did you come about this name, StyleConnaisseur?
So I was going through a magazine one time at home, and I saw this ad on wax, and the ad basically says "Connoisseur style," and I think basically they were talking about how this can make you, this outfit or this wax fabric can make you a connoisseur style, anybody just basically stylish. And I thought about the name, and it just stuck. Like, it seemed so fantastic. I went through the word. I was like, this is the name that best befits me, and I wanted a name that I could grow into. maybe not necessarily be that person at that time, but I mean, I wanted to grow into the name and eventually call myself a connoisseur of style, right? So by the time I talked about it, and it made sense. That's how I came up with the name. I saw that in the magazine, they were talking about being a connoisseur of style. I said, I could be StyleConnaisseur, and eventually I see myself 4 or 5 years from now growing into the name and just basically having a name that speaks volume of me and my brand. So yeah,
actually,
that one was easy.
Actually, I think it's really working. Like, seriously, it's amazing. Like, I think it's really you. Like, it's really you. I'm not going. I don't even.
Speaking
it's really you, and it's really strong, and it's really you. Like, seriously. So then, in 2017, you started. 2015, I think you started like a StyleConnaisseur, and then you created your blog, and then. But at the same time, you were working as interior designer. And in 2017, you started like connecting interior design to fashion. Like when I was watching your picture on your Instagram, like watching everything, I was seeing that you were extracting the design from the interior, from the picture of the architectural picture, and then you were like elaborating your style based on it. How did you come about that? How did you start it?
So the thing is, I always tell people that more often than not, you have to think of things that set you apart if you're going to be an influencer or a fashion an online personality, right? I started and I thought that what are my interests? I mean, it took like a while. If you go through my images, you can see that it took a while before I finally found what my interests were and how to properly
that's right.
Content, right? So eventually I felt like, I'm one of those people that I love aesthetics. I'm more of I like luxury. I love really nice, feel good apartments, right? And it always just spoke volume of my personal style, and I felt like it was best to share that part of me with the world. And that's when I started posting images, sharing content, architectural content. I love architecture. I love interior design. So it just made sense for me to properly curate content that was going to practically define my style and my page. As time went on, I felt like it was way perfect if I have a page that basically talks about me, right?
Yeah.
I have an image. I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. I think that's when curation comes in. Then you want to curate it in a way that it is very pleasing to the eyes, very fantastic to look at. That's when I started having images that pick images that goes with my interiors that go with my images, just so it is aesthetically pleasing and properly curated on my page. So all of it just comes down to being a curator. How do you want to curate your content to be best fit for your brand and for the eyes that are coming?
Yeah.
So it was
I think it's quite a vision that you have every time that you post a picture. You have a vision of what exactly you think that people must feel when they see or when they feel your brand. Like you're creating an experience every time that people are watching you or watching your Instagram. And it's amazing. Like, to tell you the truth, it's amazing. I think there's a lot of work behind. And how is your creative process work? How does it work? Like, how do you create? With how do you
my creative is sorry.
No, it's okay, just go ahead.
My creative for me is it's really I would say it's easy and it's quite difficult. Easy because right now it's a lot easier than when I started. When I started, I still had to think of theme, what I wanted to wear, what I wanted to look like, what I wanted to feel like, and what I wanted people to see and experience concerning myself. Right now, it's easier because it's become work and a job for me. So it's easier for me to have. So I've broken it into two. I have days where I'm shooting for those brands that are paying me to shoot for them, and there are days where I'm properly just putting in my own outfit and just showing you what my own personal life and my style is, which is going out to events or going out to have drinks with the girls, or just going out to have drinks alone by myself, and just having that content there, and then having content that I create for brands and create for brands somewhere else, right? So right now the processes and the experience is just It's quite a lot and tedious because it takes a lot of sitting down, planning, taking a lot of time to think, oh, this is what I want to look like, that's what I want to look like, this is how I want to hear this. And it takes like a whole day sometimes to properly have all of this information and all of this outfits rather ready for the next day, for the shoot day. So more often than not it's tedious, but I mean it's like what I do for a living now, so it's not as much work, as it's supposed to be, I guess.
Yeah, maybe you think it's not that much work, but I can imagine, because for me to choose a dress is like 1 minute and it's okay. I'm gone. It's okay. I just dress my. From the moment I can dress myself, it's okay. So when I see you being, processing processing everything before even shooting, I'm like, okay, she's a genius. Like seriously,
Yeah.
everyone has his own way of seeing things. When we go back to your past, and then, sorry, when you go. When we go back to your past, and then let's rewind a little bit, when you started being the cover girl of the first magazine, I think it was Reddit. Red. How do you feel seeing that your work has been approved? Let's say you're being recognized as someone who is really has a really strong idea of fashion. How did you feel? How did you get the news first, and then how did you feel?
Honestly, it was so fantastic, and just so I felt like it was just like the okay that I needed to keep going. To be honest, sometimes when you get recognition for your work, it's somehow surreal. Like you can't believe it just yet until it happens. You put it out there, and people are just like, wow, and then you're just like, oh wow, it's such a huge deal, right? To be honest, I was very calm when I got the news. I was just like, okay, easy breezy, and eventually I was just so excited to have my first cover by myself this year. It was so fantastic. It was so wonderful to just even think that someone thinks you worthy of having content, having to put you on their cover is such a huge opportunity. I was just so glad and so excited, honestly. Obviously not like jumping all around, right? Because
I will be jumping. If it was me, I would be jumping. Like
just couldn't believe it. It's just like you don't believe it just yet until it's like out there. Like you're just like, oh my god, wow, this is really right. It was wonderful. It was so fantastic, honestly.
I can imagine. Like seriously, being a cover girl is not easy. Like I can imagine. Then in 2018, you started working as a journalist for Wedding Police. And
I wasn't working though. I was on the show.
Yeah, I think on the show.
Yeah, on the show a couple of times. It was wonderful. I've done a lot of TV coverages the past, but I've also done some appearances as well for shows, Wedding Police, Moments, Wazobia's show. There's so many I've attended. There's so many I've done. So it's been great. It's just been honestly, it's just been surreal. I won't lie to you.
But how do you feel that when you look back at your life in 2013, when you send the first picture of yourself on Instagram, and then you see yourself right now being recognized for the work that you have been doing for 7 years, or let me say maybe 5 years? How do you feel? I mean, how do you see this progress? And then what would you say to someone who would like to start like you? What made you being inspired to go for your passion?
The truth is, number one thing is I'm always one of those people that is just really scared of mediocrity and just not having the life that I truly think that I deserve or I was born to live, right? There's some people that want to live a very, quiet life, whatnot. And there are other people that want to impact lives and they also want to do something worth doing and leave an impact in the world. I'm one of those people that really want to leave an impact. I've always wanted to leave an impact. I always felt like I want to live a life that is just worth being a trailblazer, right? Just basically going through life and just thinking, wow, she lived here. She was with us in this process, right? That's how I think of myself. And so when I think about it, and if you're that person, you have to take a step. You have to take an extra step and ask yourself, okay, what do I want to do? Or how do I want to achieve what I want to do? Who do I want to impact, right? Some people want to impact people in tech. Some people want to impact people in fashion. Some people want to impact people in beauty. You just have to pick a segment and just focus on it and be dedicated and be consistent with it. The truth is, more often than not, your laurels will definitely come. But before they do come, right, it's always it's going to take a while, right? You have to do a lot of work to prove to people that you are going to be around for a while, and you're worth looking up to. Your actions, to your lifestyle, to your everyday content posts, to your fashion. There's so many things, right, that really makes you, and you have to be very cognizant of that. So I think that's the most important thing. You have to be consistent. You have to be very, very dedicated. You have to be passionate. You have to let people know that you are here to stay and give them valuable, important information that would help them. Because I think one of the best things that have ever happened to me is basically helping people dictate what their style is, and helping people just see, like, okay, you can do this with African print. You can do that with African print. It doesn't have to be boring anymore. So it's basically just being a trailblazer, and for you to do that, you have to make the step. You have to take the extra step, really.
Apart from the fact that you said that you need to prove to people that you are going to stay, but sometimes you have haters, like people who really don't like the fact that you're even trying to leave a legacy, because it's all about leaving a legacy, from my point of view. And how did you manage to keep on going with those people who does not really support you, and sometimes they're even around you, they're really quite, that even sometimes
the truth is sorry. Okay, the truth is, I feel like more often than not, right, you always will find someone that doesn't like you for you being you, or doesn't appreciate your style, doesn't like what you do or the content that you put out there, and that's okay, right? Everybody cannot like you. Everybody cannot be your friend, and everybody cannot, appreciate what you do. That's where your self-worth and your self-confidence comes in, where you know who you are, you know what you're trying to push out there. I don't see why you should be very you should care about what haters say. I feel like that's a ridiculous word. But hater, I just feel like there's no need living the life. I'm just wondering, oh my God, what if people say this, or what if people say that? What if they don't? If they do, what next? Like, who cares what they think? These people don't feed you. These people don't cater to you. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what their opinion is about you. As long as you know who you are, your family knows who you are, you're a good person, you're doing good, you're spreading love, you're spreading lots of energy, positive energy rather, into the world. So, why do you care what people's opinion is about you? Especially if it's negative, right? Why do you care why do you accept all of the negativity? People would also, there'll be a lot of positive people as well. Take all of that positivity in. If there are constructive criticisms, you take that one in as well. But you don't necessarily have to dwell. I never dwell. As I never care about what everybody or anyone thinks about me, or say about me. Honestly, I don't even hear it, because more often than not, I'm one of those people that I live a very simple, private life. I mind my business. Like, your negativity, energy, gossip never gets to me, because I radiate a different kind of energy. And negativity, bad press, bad energy doesn't necessarily come to my personal circle, because I'm very protective about my energy and my circle. So yes, it's not what I got.
Those are really wise. Actually, I think it's a wise way of living. Really, live for yourself, and being good for people. Doesn't really care about other people think. At the end of the day, negativity is not really the most important thing in this life, when you know where you're going. So for this first part, and then for this first part of interview, I would like to close this first part. I would like to ask you, what makes what is your idea of success? What is it for you to be successful? Is it accomplishing what you've been created for, or going for your passion, or being worthy? What is it for you, the idea of being successful?
I mean, the number one idea of success for me is impact. Impact and longevity is my idea of success. Longevity, I say, because you're never really truly successful unless you've been around and you have tasted the waters for a really long time with different breeds of people, like with different new styles coming in. 5-10 years from now, I need to be relevant. I have to be relevant because they're going to be new sets of influencers who are way cooler, who are way more interesting, and you're going to be competing with a completely different crowd, right? How do you stay cool for a long time and stay relevant for a long time, right? And that's where longevity comes in. That's where success comes in, because the fact is you have been doing this for a long time. You've managed to unlearn, relearn, and just revamp yourself over time. So obviously it's a huge success story, right? Obviously just impacting as well, for you to go through life and someone will say, I knew her, I knew about her work, I knew all the things. I'm so glad that she was here and she pulled us through like a difficult time. Impact is so important to me, because the truth is, once you have impact, you have value and you have relevance, right? So the truth, yeah, I've always told people I do everything to have an impact, to make sure that I'm leaving this world, and if I'm not there for a while, people can feel your absence, right? People can feel like, oh, if she was here, things would have been different. If she was here, she would have showed us how to do this. So impact is really impact, and longevity is a huge part of my success definition. Huge part of my success definition.
Sure, that is really important. And then when you leave an impact, you are not only doing it for yourself. There are a lot of people really looking after you, and they're really inspired by the way you're living. And most of it, they're taking a lot from you. That is really important. That is actually the reason why I wanted you. I was so grateful when you replied to my message. I wasn't expecting you. I was like, let me open my heart to her. And then let's see if she is touched, because you have inspired me and a lot of people around me. So that I must say, really, thank you so much. I need to ask you 5 questions for women. What makes a woman unique?
I think her sense of style, her energy. I would say the 5 things: her sense of style, her energy, her elegance, her diction, and her personality. A sense of style, I mean, you need to be able to tell about the person just by looking at their personal style and just seeing how they properly curate and bring outfits together. It needs to tell you a lot about this person just by doing that, right? Also, I feel like it's very important for people to get a positive energy from you. If you're one of those women that people sense that negativity from you, they sense a lot of anger, they sense a lot of lack of love, rather, right? It's not a good look, right? It doesn't say much about you as a woman, right? So people, I personally, this is my personal take, right? That's how I judge people: your sense of style, your personality, your energy. I mean, how wonderful are you? How caring are you? How nurturing are you? How easy is it to talk to you, especially in a world where it's difficult for a lot of women to relate with other women or even support other women, right? So I'm just always looking for positive energy, easy to talk to, nice sense of style, effortless, fun. You know, I mean, I'm just honestly, being unique is very difficult in a world like this, where everybody is going through a train where you have to jump on the bandwagon to stay relevant. You want to look a certain way, you want to talk a certain way, you want to dress a certain way because that's what is raining or that's what is on trend. But how can you do that? How can you stay true to yourself and be unique to yourself? You have to have your own personal sense of style. You have to have your own personal energy. You have to know who you are. You have to have a different personality that you feel like is completely different from what people are used to. Just be yourself. Honestly, a unique woman to me is someone who knows who she is and who is not shy to let the world know that this is who she is, and that's it.
That's for sure. But another question, and the last question is going to be: if you have two advice to say to someone who would like to start as an influencer and as a fashion trendsetter like you are, what will be those advice?
There are two things I always tell people when they ask me this, right? They're just two words, two C's: consistency and commitment. You have to be consistent and you have to be committed. If you're not committed, you can't do it. And I tell people from my own experience, consistency and commitment are my watchwords, and they're the two words that have actually brought me this far. If I was not consistent, I wouldn't have gotten this far. If I was not committed, I would not have gotten this far. So it's as simple as that. Be committed, be consistent. Make sure that your work speaks for you, speaks volume of you. Be consistent with your delivery, be consistent with your energy, be consistent with your positivity, be consistent with your serve. Just be consistent, and that's basically the most important thing. Be consistent and be committed. People need to see that you're putting in the work. You did, like today now I shoot 20 outfits, 15 outfits. And for me to get that done, it has to be commitment. It cannot just be that because I like it. I'm committed to getting content out there 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row. So for me to have that, I have to be consistent and be committed as well. So it's just commitment and consistency.
Thank you so much. We have finished. Now, one last question. This last one. I would like to know, how do you plan your shoots? Like, I know the street is your runway and it's amazing. It's beautiful. Are you waiting for people to go out or not be around? How do you plan your shoot in the day or in the week? How does it work? Because I don't even understand how you do that. I'm really focused on the fact that I need to understand how you go about this.
I mean, that's what I said. I was talking about earlier. It's pretty easy for me now. For me, shoot days are just work days for me. Right now, I just pack my bags. I'm ready to go. I mean, the outfits are a lot, right? I'm planning my shoots. I just take one full day dedicated to shooting, relaxing, preparing myself for the next day, especially when I'm really tired. And it's really not difficult. I have a photographer, he has a personal assistant. I have an assistant as well. Everybody knows their job when it comes to shooting and what they should dedicate their time towards. So it's never really difficult for me. It's easy peasy. It's like go, 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 go. I'm very organized. So during my shoot, everything, they are all laid out: outfits, accessories, shoes, so I can see how I paired them, especially in my mind the previous day. So it's really easy for me. It's really easy for me to go through, to be honest. It's really not difficult. I mean, sometimes there are a lot of outfits, but more often than not, it's just like easy peasy. I spent like 2 hours. Okay, last week I shot 15 looks, and I started at 1 o'clock and I was done at 3:15. So basically it was just, I did the outfits in 2 hours, 15 outfits in 2 hours, and it's easier. It's usually shorter when I have like 5 or 7 outfits, 10 outfits. So
15 outfits? Seriously, I cannot make it. I cannot make it.
It's crazy, but I mean,
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, StyleConnaisseur. Thank you so much for replying, for taking time for me. I hope you had a great time with me. And I hope you are going to be like more. You are going to go further, because I think I'm really inspired by your work, by the way that you're moving your career. And then I hope to see you one day physically. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.